Yeah, so there are three main ways that people try to make money online, and that is one with like e-commerce, selling products or services, doing the drop shipping thing. Okay. Two is selling some sort of service-based offer, like marketing services, right? And then number three is selling information, info products, shit like that, courses, consulting, and that type of stuff. And within those three, there are different levels and mad differences within them that will allow people to be successful or will completely like destroy them and cause them to fail. So I'll go over these three things. I'm gonna talk about the ins and outs of each of these options, and then I'll give you some like ideas of what to do or how you could conquer essentially each one, okay? So let's start with the e-commerce thing. So when you're doing e-com, you're basically picking products that you hope are already selling, or I would hope they were already selling, picking good products to sell, okay? And you have to buy those products to then sell those products, right? So if you get the product for 10 bucks and you can sell it for 50 bucks, then you've got a pretty good margin, but now you have to think about shipping and all that stuff. And is it drop shipped? Are you gonna buy in bulk? You have to think about all these different aspects of how you're going to source and then sell that product, okay? So once you've identified the product and you think you have good margins or whatever, and you think you have like a good source, then you need to promote it. And you're either gonna promote it with like social media content or ads. And most people go right to the ads because it's the fastest way to do the e-com thing. Now, when you start running ads, you're gonna take out a lot of your margin. A lot of your money is gonna be spent on trying to get the conversion. So again, let's say you buy the product for 10 bucks and you can sell it for 50. You'll probably spend $20 or more trying to get the conversion, okay? So now you're up to $30 in total spend and you're making $20 per sale. So now, with that $20, how much is it gonna take you to ship that out? I don't know, maybe another $5, depending on how you structure everything, what's included. So now you're down to making 15 bucks per sale. And so how many of those do you need to sell a day to make any real money? Well, 2 of those sales would be $30 in profit a day. 3 of those sales would be what, 45. 4 of those sales would be 50, I think. So you need to make 4 sales a day just to make 50 bucks a day. And 4 sales a day doesn't sound that hard, and it might not be that hard if you have your ads dialed in and stuff, but you know, that's only 50 bucks a day. And it is somewhat hard to make those sales and earn that $50 a day. And again, it's only 50 bucks a day. So what I'm trying to get at here is when you're doing e-com, because of your margins, because what you buy the product at and what you sell it at and your ads and all that stuff and shipping costs and everything, at the end of the day, you make a very small amount of profit per sale. And that's what fucks people up, because it's hard to learn how to sell stuff and be motivated to continue when you're making just a little bit of money. In the beginning, it might seem exciting because you're making some money and it's all good and all, but as soon as you want to scale, that's when problems come in, especially with the ads. So at first you might be getting those conversions for 20 bucks, let's say. But if you want to sell 100 a day and really make a lot of money, you're probably going to end up paying like 30, 35, maybe even $40 per conversion as you spend more. So it's hard to scale them too. So that's what you're looking at when you're going into the e-com space, is like, you know, even if you're drop shipping the products, which is ideal for people who are starting out, you're going to pay a little bit more for that drop shipping service essentially. And then you got to think about all the costs and stuff that go into that. And then the other way that people do it is they buy the product in bulk and then they sell it basically, you know, from their house or from a warehouse. if you bring it to your house, then you're packaging that shit up and you're sending it out. And so that's more work on top of what you're doing. And then if you send it to like what's called like a 3PL or a warehouse that will send it out for you, then you have to pay those fees for that as well. So for me, e-com has never been a very attractive space because of all the shit that goes into starting it up and really like running it successfully. I'm not saying it doesn't work. You can make almost any fucking business work with some determination and some cleverness, but this is not a very beginner friendly situation. There's a huge learning curve. There's a lot that goes into it. Then we've got like the marketing services. Marketing services like, editing or copywriting or running Facebook ads or, creating content for people. Now, this has its own complications too, because now you're working with people. So number one, you have to be good at sales, or you have to have a way to consistently get new clients, okay? And that is hands down where most people struggle, is getting new clients. How are you gonna get people to trust to pay you big sums of money like $2,000 or $5,000 a month to manage their shit? That's the learning curve that most people have to get over. Now, once they get over that learning curve and they're able to get a few clients in the door, the second part is actually like working with the client and having systems and processes in place to make that client feel taken care of, but then also fulfilling on the work, right? So you got to kind of become like a salesperson. You got to develop that skill, learn how to work with people, then learn how to manage people and manage their expectations, and then also execute on the work. And for a solo entrepreneur, it sounds fucking good to get like $2,000 retainers or $5,000 retainers, but most people end up getting a couple retainers and then they focus all their energy on the work, and now they're not selling and generating enough interest in their services, and now their client flow is drying up because now they're too focused on the work. And for a solo entrepreneur, this is the deadly cycle of get some clients, do the work, forget about BD, then all of a sudden maybe a client's not happy and you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna lose this client. So then you get back to BD, but then you start lagging on the work, and then the client actually isn't happy because you're not doing enough for the client. And you get kind of stuck in this never-ending cycle of like trying to impress your client, but knowing that you need new clients, and you never really get as far as you wanted to with the system. Well, the majority of people. And also what I think is people have unrealistic expectations. They're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go for it, and I'm just gonna like become that guy who like does sales calls and does all the shit necessary to win. And like you get all motivated from seeing some fucking guy, some motivational dude on YouTube or whatever, telling you that like you just need to try hard and bust your ass off. The thing is, as you're going through it, that's not always the case. Like 99% of people like will drop the ball in multiple places along that path because of inexperience, because of being overworked, stressed, not getting paid enough for what they're doing. And this can create like a really horrid situation for a lot of people, because let's say you have two clients that are paying you $2,000 a month each, and so you're making $4,000 a month, but that might not really be enough to cover all of your bills. Like it could be working a little bit, you're glad you're making the money, but it's not like life-changing money. So you're still thinking like, okay, I need more clients. How do I improve this? So you're still kind of stressed, but you still have to work with those clients, right? And a lot of people get caught in that loop where they're never making enough to really like be happy and satisfied, but they still have clients, so they still have to do all the work for the clients, and they're actually doing more work than they would if they were just, at a full-time job getting $4,000 a month. And this is what's called a self-created job. And that's what I've just seen a ton of in the marketing services space or consulting space or even coaching space, is that people have inconsistent client flow and they're never really making enough money to break out, but then they're also stressed with like the hands-on work that they have to do for the client. There's ways to beat that system, but I'm just saying, like, in my experience and seeing, you know, tons of people try to execute on this model, most people can't successfully execute on this model. And it's kind of a bummer, but a lot of the dudes who have been successful and been able to build teams out and stuff like that, and, you know, really get some growth and get to like $1 million in revenue a year, most of the dudes or girls who, you know, are the CEOs of those companies or have been able to do that, they really don't make much money themselves because they're in a position where they're paying a ton of other people to do all the work for them so that they don't have to, and they can focus on BD, and everyone else is making money really but them. So it's kind of, it's not a great path to go down. And a lot of these agency owners who are making $1 million a year in revenue or even more are desperate to get out of it and just want to sell to another company so that they don't have to do this shit anymore. So, I mean, it's an option for you to do. I just don't think, like, as a beginner getting into it, there's a lot that it takes to get started and going and like making the right money and like to exit the trap that you could potentially create for yourself. And are you that guy? I don't know. Are you that guy? There are some people out there that are that guy, but are you that guy? So you got to think about that shit. The only good way to do it is to have people really like in place to do the work that you pay per project, and just to be a biz dev master and out, you know, basically outsource all the shit and try to just manage the process. But still, like, I've got a buddy who's doing around $500,000 a year with his agency, and he makes no money because he's just paying everyone else to run the whole thing. And his concept is that, like, I'll grow this thing as big as possible until I can get paid. So, you know, that's someone with a lot of experience too. So if you're thinking about going down that path, just think about these things. I'm just trying to give you the information so you know what path you can go down. Then there's the info product space, the digital product space, let's call it. Now, to me, this is the most beginner friendly, because if you sell a product at the right price, like an info product for like $500 or something like that, like a lot of these MRR people are doing, when you make a sale, you're kind of like, fuck yeah, right? I just made $500, right? You make a few $500 sales through your content or through ads, it's pretty motivating, right? Like you feel good about that, and you don't have to really like do any delivery, right? You don't have to get on the phone with anyone. You don't have to walk anyone through a process. You don't have to coach or consult or anything like that. You sold the product, they get the product, they go check it out, and you're done. All you have to really do is focus on selling. That's what's great about the info product space. Now, as soon as you start like coaching, then you're tying yourself and your time into the offer again, and that's when things kind of get complicated, right? So as a beginner, I would definitely focus on selling something that's kind of high value, but that is just like a course, right? And if you create the course, you'll complicate the process as well, but that's fine. Like, once you create the course, then you can sell it 100 times. But what a lot of people do who are in the info product space or starting out in that space is they take forever creating their thing, and they don't have confidence in it, and they keep changing it and like worrying about it. And then all of a sudden they don't really like push or promote their thing because they're more concerned about, you know, how good their thing is and like tinkering with their product. So that stops a lot of people from having success, or it stops a lot of people from learning how to create content, run ads, and actually promote what they're selling, because they never get to the point where they can actually sell the thing because they're too self-conscious about what they're selling. And the way to get around that is really to just sell somebody else's product. And in fact, if you are thinking about selling a digital product because you are starting out, like, I would highly recommend just finding someone who has a good product and then reaching out to them and being like, yo, can I be an affiliate for you? Because this is going to allow you to focus all your time and energy on promotional methods and learning content and learning ads and basically learning how to get a shit ton of customers. And then you send the customers to that person, they pay you. You don't have to deal with customer support, returns. You don't have to deal with like a community or anything like that. You know, it's really hands off, and it's one of the best systems possible because it allows you, again, to focus on just learning methods of promotion. And once you get super good at learning these methods of promotion and like driving a ton of sales, and you're making 10 or 20 grand a month as an affiliate, then you've proven to yourself that you can sell, and then you can go and create something if you want. And that's the best path. And I think that's the path that's gonna give the most people the most opportunity for success. These other paths are really not beginner friendly, and they take a lot of work and effort to start getting your first results, which, you know, again, for most people is going to deter them from pursuing it. So you want to find something that's going to give you wins as fast as possible so that you feel good and you want to pursue it and keep doing it and keep crushing it. And that would be in the selling digital products through content and ads. And if they're your own digital products, that's cool. But I would recommend starting out by selling somebody else's digital product. And usually with digital products, the commissions are very high because the margins are very high, right? So you could sell someone's digital product and get like 50% commission on a $200 item or a $500 item. And that's meaningful money. You know, 2 or 3 sales of those a week, you'd be like, you know, in terms of like extra cash, you'd be like, hell yeah, I just made like $900 extra this week, right? So that to me is the opportunity. I've looked at all sorts of other things in terms of affiliate, you know, TikTok shop and stuff like that. There are opportunities there, but you're going to make the most selling a digital product with a fat commission or selling your own digital product.